Greetings, viewers. Thanks for joining me under the truck today. This is the T100. This is the leaky differential. These have a big flat spot here at the top that gathers crud, especially when, like, this truck's been a farm truck its whole life, spending its time off-road in the dirt, and it piles up here and it gathers above the little clippy thing that holds this, and you get rust holes. Now, I was talking about swapping out this housing from the one in the parts truck, but somebody's already showing interest in the parts truck as a running and driving vehicle, and I mentioned the housing leaking, and we're going to try and work out a deal where they'll get the good housing and I'm going to patch this one. So I told them if I could make this patch work, then we'd do that. So I'm going to fix this because I had planned on patching it to put in the other one, perhaps. I'm going to see if I can't just patch this and stick with cheap truck here and make this work with a big old rust hole in the top of it. And some people might say that's a pretty stupid idea. A lot of this might be, but I'm going to go ahead and fix that, and I'll show you how as I go. Let me clean it up and prep it here. Okay, so I got it all cleaned up. I got me a nice piece of metal cut to fit. I'm going to have to weld it, start it in the back, and bring it around to make it fit the arc, and then as I come out around the front, I'm going to have to smack it down some to make it fit the contour here, but it isn't going to be that difficult. Got me a good ground spot, ground in over there. I'm going to make sure I got all my grinding covered, and I'll start tacking that on and check back in with you as I go so you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully this will work, and I'll make even some more money off of that parts truck. Always takes me a minute to get my welder set up, so I got a nice little booger there to start with, but I got my wire speed and my feed worked out. Now I'm just going to take my hammer, I'm going to start to bring the weld around this side and use my hammer and beat this corner down, then I'll bring it on around the top and come around. It'll take a little bit of hammering, a little bit of welding as I go, but I'll spot you back in from time to time for progress. Okay, I got the side like I was discussing. The corners are easy to burn through, so I had to kind of overlap a little bit there. When you're welding thicker to thinner, which I don't know, the diff housing still has to be thicker than my patch piece, which is just part of a fender. But when you're welding thicker to thinner, pull from your thicker stuff with your bead onto your thinner stuff. Now I beat that around and welded it all the way across the back. You can see it's up in the air. While it's nice and hot especially, you just take a hammer and beat it down there. I'll use the round end, whatever. When I get around to the other side, I'll come down that side. I'm liable to have a little fish mouth or something in there. I got my grinder to cut it, or I'll just mash it flat. So I'm going to weld down this other side first maybe, and then deal with that so I don't have a big gap on a corner. So I'll be right back after the next weld. Okay, I did decide to come down the other side first. You can see there on that corner where I did start to burn a hole in my piece, and I chased it down till it stopped. Now it's often a good idea to let it cool. Do a real good inspection of all of your joints where you bring your welds together for any holes. I may have a hole in this somewhere that's a little tiny pinhole. You can always seal those up with JB Weld afterwards, or come back and re-weld. I hopefully will get all this with no holes, but I wanted to show here where I started down low and I'm chasing that hole. Well, when it's too hot, it'll burn a hole through faster, so I'm going to let that cool. I'm going to come over here and finish this, but all in all, my booger welds with my flux core welder will get this job done. I will save myself some labor and make some extra money on this project, and that's what it's all about. So this is a little labor intensive, but it's a whole lot easier than changing axles. So hang on, let me finish this up. Okay, and there you have it, booger welds and all, but I will fill this up. I'm going to drain it, of course, and fill it, and see if I have any leaks. If I have any little pinhole leaks, I've always found it's easier to just go back with some JB Weld and plug them up rather than trying to weld them again, especially if it's on the thinner part, but that's neither here nor there. Sometimes I have good luck with it, sometimes I don't. You can see where, try not to touch it, where I boogered it up there again. That's where that hole was. If you're trying to chase a hole in your thinner stuff and you want to make sure you get it without going too far, turn your welder down just a hair from where you were, and that'll help you chase it and not keep burning a hole in it. So the best I can tell, I've got this pretty good. Yeah, it's kind of crappy looking welds, I will give you that. But I wanted to lay it on thick, so I kind of double beaded everywhere after I got the metal down. I'm going to drain this and change the fluid back here. But hang on, let me get out from under this truck real quick. Okay, now I got the body parts changed over. I got the black fenders on, put the wheels on just because somebody came and bought the other wheels that were on it. Now those won't count towards the cost and expenses of this project because they came off of another vehicle, and even though I was going to use them on here, I sold them and I got something different. I'm not counting that. The new front end looks really good on there. The bumper, the lower valance, all in great shape. The chromier grille. I cleaned up the headlights with my headlight kit. I'm going to do them again, but compared to what they were, wow, those look great. So all the fenders, there's no rust. The supports are there that were missing from the front. So yeah, got the black fenders on, got the wheels on. I like that. There's still much to do. I'm going to see if I can get that rear end to work. So I told the guy, let me weld it and try it and see, and if I can make mine work, I will sell that one. But that was the only thing stopping me from driving this again, was that rear end. So I'm going to get that changed, and then I can start using this. Now it does need front end parts. They're kind of whooped, but not terribly whooped. But this way I can get it out, drive it around the country mile. And then next thing I'll do is start to work on that front end, because body work is secondary. And frame rust, as far as that goes, I want to fix it before the weather gets bad. But I have options there too, and it's not a rush. Still need to do the frame repair on that Tundra first. So, seeing if this works, taking the cheap truck to an extra level, I guess, welding my own rear end up when I have one. Somebody else who was watching, though, saw this and said, hey, if you can put that all together and make it run and drive when you're done, they don't even want the body or interior. They just want the running, driving drivetrain out of it, and the front end parts. They said they would buy the whole thing for what I bought it for. So we'll see how that goes. But moving on a little bit, just a few minutes with the T100 today. I'll add to the list that I fixed the rear end if it works. I'm going to fill it up, take it out and drive it. Updates to follow. Appreciate you. Check the links. Read the description, I guess. The links are in the description. That's the way it goes. Appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe if you feel like doing that. I appreciate everybody coming in and seeing how it's going. Before I get rambled too far, thanks for stopping in at the T100 project today. Appreciate y'all. Have a great day.